Hi, my name is Cherry Boyles. I serve as Instructional Supervisor for Washington County Schools. And today I've been asked to share with you a professional learning opportunity that we made available to our teachers last year during the 2013-14 school year, and that we've continued to make available this year. Last year, we offered to teachers across the district the opportunity to essentially propose to us a professional learning plan. All teachers had their professional development, the PD requirements for this date. It was already outlined. They knew how they would receive those hours. But we wanted to give them an opportunity to really think more deeply about their professional learning. Teachers were telling us that it was often through action research in their classrooms and case studies that they would read and review and analyze with teammates. Sometimes it was the strategy implementation in their own classrooms that they would then take to PLC teams and analyze. Through those types of activities, they thought that their professional learning was developing, often better than in an isolated professional development session where they would receive PD credit. Given that information, we wanted to find a way to honor that work and to encourage that work. And so we created a proposal system for teachers. In this system, teachers have the opportunity to present to us a problem of practice. They outline the problem, indicate to us the instructional problem that's happening in their classroom, what they choose to do about it, and how they plan to monitor and measure it over time. In some cases, the teachers would, within their problem of practice in their proposal, they outlined exactly what they would do in order to address the problem. And so they knew the strategy or the structure they chose to implement. They had the plan for when it would be implemented, how they would collect student data to see if their implementation made a difference in the classroom, and then they would be prepared to monitor it over time and to share and reflect on their experience with us. In some cases, though, teachers weren't quite sure. It was truly a problem of practice that they weren't certain how to address, and so their proposals began with research. Often it was working with other teammates. Sometimes it was studying professional materials. Sometimes it was working with professors from other universities. And so they wanted the opportunity to really study and analyze how to approach a problem that they were seeing in their classrooms. In some cases, teachers developed these proposals independently. We had one case where teachers worked as a team. They decided they wanted to improve the manner in which they monitored data, and so they wanted to create a new tool for data monitoring within their classrooms. They created that through this proposal system. Essentially, the proposal just says it asked them to outline the problem of practice, describe to us the steps that they would take, and it also required that they had support from their leadership. Administrators in the buildings would approve the plans that teachers submitted. They would then give feedback to the teachers and support the teachers along the way. The building principals then brought that information to the district office, and so the district administrative team had an opportunity to review all of the different plans from the teachers. It gave us a chance to know how to support teachers, who might need different resources, what opportunities did teachers need. And we saw that teachers were selecting professional learning experiences across the board. In some cases, as I've shared, it was data monitoring. In some cases, it was about the types of texts that they used in their classrooms and how they paralleled and would partner informational texts with literary texts. In some cases, it was about strategies or increasing rigor. So we had a variety of approaches that teachers selected. It was very powerful because it was based on their own identified needs in their classroom, as evidenced in student learning. Teachers would, after they would submit the proposals and these proposals were reviewed, we would provide feedback, sometimes through the form of questions, sometimes just feedback to indicate how we thought we might be able to help them along the way. But then teachers would implement this practice. Sometimes the practices would begin to be implemented back in the summer. Often it was just throughout the school year. But teachers kept track of the work that they did. They would meet frequently with their principals and periodically with central office administrators as well. They would show progress. They shared with us evidence of their own work. They shared with us evidence of student growth. In some cases, we had proposals that were based on video collections, and so teachers would have video clips of their classroom work. But we had a chance to really see practice change. They worked collaboratively, even if they did the research on their own and it was an individual proposal. They collaborated with their PLC teams or with other parallel partners and shared their learning. Part of the proposal that we asked teachers to submit required that they communicated what they learned. And so that communication had to go beyond just their administrator. So they found ways to report and to communicate and to share. They would present at district meetings or at school meetings. In some cases, they just sent emails that included some resources that they had found or strategies they had learned. These 2-day plans were labeled 2-day plans because we provided stipends. We were able to pay 2-day stipends to teachers who did this work. We thought the work was valuable, and we wanted them to know that. Ultimately, the teachers shared with us that all of this work took more than 2 days. I don't think we had anybody that was able to do it in an actual 2-day period, which would be 12 hours. But we still had teachers come back this year and ask us for the opportunity to do it again. They valued that professional learning, and we valued their work. We've seen progress in those classrooms. I've shared with some of my friends that we don't always have the data that really illustrates that progress, but we have seen growth. We saw significant change in student practice and in teacher practice, and so we thought it was valuable enough to continue. We hope to be able to continue it in the future. We believe that our 2-day plan supports the professional, or is supported by the professional learning standards that come from Learning Forward and the new professional learning work from the Kentucky Department of Education. It does take time to implement a system like this. Teachers really do have to reflect. They have to analyze their work, and they have to be honest with themselves. Administrators have to be supportive. We have to be able to indicate what's working and what's not, but we have to have a 2-way communication, because teachers have to be open and comfortable to come to us to be able to share what their concerns and their questions are, so that we can then provide better assistance and better feedback. I hope the work that you're doing over this weekend in this conference is valuable, and that you'll find opportunities to work with school districts on their professional learning plans, just as we've been fortunate enough to find some professors who've partnered with us. Thank you for this time. If you have any questions, you're welcome to contact me. My name again is Cherry Boyles. I work with Washington County Schools, and I'm on the Global Directory. Thank you. Have a nice day.